On February 18th, 2010, Andrew Stack decided to fly his airplane into the Echelon office complex in Austin, Texas, because that was the headquarters of a regional office of the Internal Revenue Service. Andrew Stack had been complaining since 1986 about one particular part of the U.S. tax code that he felt particularly targeted him to pay a higher tax rate than he wanted. This is just the latest in a long series of showy suicides or murder suicides where somebody has felt the world has done them wrong and they're going to show the world that you can't do this to me anymore. I read his multi-page suicide note, and it's really nothing any different than I've ever seen come out of any other murder-suicide. These sorts of things always seem to boil down to somebody wants to change their life or some aspect of it that has been frustrating them. So the solution, rather than actively changing their life and taking control over it, they look for somebody else to blame that they can take out with them, so that when they die, they don't die alone. Or in the case of Andrew Stack, he didn't seem to have anybody particular in mind that he wanted to take with him. He wanted to make a big flashy show of his end. People who are out there watching this, if you decided to open this video, there is a possibility you may know somebody who is always blaming everyone else in the world except for themselves, and is always looking for a scapegoat to blame. If you know someone like that, I would like you to say to them, have you thought about what maybe you're doing wrong with your life? Let's take this specific case of Andrew Stack. He was unhappy with how he had been taxed since 1986. By the IRS, following the U.S. tax code. Now, rather than change what he did for a living, or go to an accountant and say, I'm tired of paying taxes this way, what do I need to do to change my tax rate? He seethed and complained since 1986 until he finally snapped and decided to fly a plane into a building. When what he really needed to do was sit down with a certified public accountant and find a different way to do his job. But changing his life was apparently more effort than he wanted to go to. So if you know somebody who is driving ahead and insisting that everything in the world is the fault of everyone else but himself, say to him, have you looked in the mirror lately? Have you thought about what you could be doing differently? And if there is somebody who happens to be watching this video because they're looking for information on people who have decided to take it out on the world, I want you to stop and think. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's not the world. Maybe it's you. Maybe you need to be doing something differently. If you don't like your life, change it. Sell everything you have. Go live in a cave and meditate. Find Jesus, find Buddha, find Immanuel Kant. Do something with your life other than what you're doing that's making you so miserable. Don't just look for a way to walk out on life and take a few people with you. That's the most boring, least interesting option possible. It shows no creativity, you don't impress anyone else. All the rest of us think when they read about you in the newspaper the next day is, what an asshole. Don't have any illusions if you're one of those rare few people out there looking for inspiration. Nobody will be impressed when you go out that way. And if you know somebody who's always looking for someone else to blame, say to them, maybe it's you. Thank you for listening.